Welcome back to Panel Days Superheroes Ahoy. Offbeat art is a concept that attracts some and repels some. Uh, in any media, be it film, music, books, there are people who want to uh, catch up on what's popular, what's the bestseller, and and then tell others about it, which is great. I think it's just everyone's perspective to get into one field of entertainment or arts and then quickly consume what works, and not everyone has a time and attention to devote to something which is not that successful. I personally have maybe spent a lot of time on offbeat stuff. So, be it movies, I think movies has been the biggest where I have not seen many popular films, and I have just wasted months and years watching and rewatching many films which probably no one would, very few people would. And then it's not only watching it, I've also celebrated those said films. And same when I was trying to recently go back to my I wrote an article about growing up as a 90s kid reading Indian comic books, and I was surprised I was not able to recollect many popular comic books. Though it's not like I didn't read, I think the books were quite expensive. Reading was not a very cheap thing. I think it still not is, but yeah. So there was titles were few and far between. We used to go and rent books and read them. But the point is, I saw mention of some books which I was really surprised because I really could not recollect. So I had written about Tulsi Comics, Manoj Comics, and Angara and Jambu. So, yeah, in this video, we'll talk about some of the offbeat comics. So, I started collecting or recollecting comic books recently, and as usual, I wanted to also check out what's happening in the offbeat world. So, there's a great group of guys, they are doing some good work in the Comics India imprint. So, what I found out that there is a lot of reprinting and basically showcasing of some of the obscure old titles. They are quite old, and then they have been given a new, completely new look. And so this is what I'll share with you today. So let me start. So these were two orders that I had placed with Comics India, and I had no idea how the books will be, and this was the first book that I had received. I think it will cover my complete screen, my complete face. This is super extra large size book, and I can't really give you the experience of how it is to read this book. Uh, I was recently trying to scan some of the pages, and that was some task also. But for my benefit, I have scanned them. But this experience can't be summed up in words or any explanation. So this was the first book I had got. Lalit ji had sent it from Comics India in perfect condition so far. This was Aapka Beta Yosho, sort of an origin story of Yosho. I really loved it, and then I ordered in my second Comics India I ordered Pralayankari Yosho. They published some more of these super extra large books. There is a yoga and there is some bars comics. So so now the interesting part about these books is that you would imagine that they are just there to as a gimmick. Uh, but the funny thing is, in the Yosho books, there is a lot of good writing. Obviously, the art is great, but the writing is pretty good in some frames. It's like Bahubali meets Star Wars. There is fantasy, there is science fiction, there is certain intense emotions, there is some patriotism also. I think Yosho is from the planet Sun, so I think he has patriotism for Sun. Yeah. So this was about Pralankari Yosho, and this was about Aag Beta Yosho, so son of Sun, Yosho. There is some more ads here. Another thing I really loved about these prints is that you really get very good pages about spreading the word around the community activities around spreading these books. And how can you not love something like this? It's just spectacular. So, apart from my Yosho books, I also ordered Angara. I saw some of the covers and I totally lost it. Uh, so, this was great Angara. Now, I have no clue if the original art was like this or this has been. I'm assuming this original art was like this because I know a lot of great work that was done in 80s and 90s is so futuristic. uh, अंगारा अंतरिक्ष में अंगारा की वापसी. I'm not going to talk about the story as such. It's I think I'm too small to talk about or make fun of these books, but Angara books are meant to be read and enjoyed. There is a lot of unintentional and sometimes intentional humor. You're talking about a guy who has friends like these and has a sidekick come villain like this. You would imagine it's just to make fun of, but there is some weird things that happen in Angara. So after ordering these three books, in my next order I had ordered an Angara hardbound. So this was the Angara hardbound volume 2 that really comes in a nice slipcase. So I got it recently and I'm yet to read this. But there you have a Yosho ad again. But I mean, this is something, if you love Offbeat, why don't you have this in your collection? This is about Angara. Let me get to the third character that I ordered. So this was something interesting. This was a character that was created by Ved Prakash Sharma. So anyone into Hindi uh, novels, anyone who's literally been grown up in 80s or 90s India would have seen this name in huge banners, especially in states like Rajasthan, UP, Vardiwala Gunda, and so on. So he actually he writes in this book that he often gets a request to write some comic book character. He wrote something called Jambu, and again, don't judge a book by its cover. The things that happen in Jambu are crazy. Obviously, there is a lot of formulaic stuff that also happens, but then there is some fun to be had. The art is great, and yeah, this is about Jambu. Sometimes it goes crazy dark, sometimes it goes B-grade science fiction, but yeah, talk about B-grade science fiction. Yeah, there is clouds of dust, people appear out of portals, and there is weirdly futuristic science happens sometimes for a book based in the 80s. So this is by Tulsi Comics. Then we come to the next character. This is also something I had ordered. I had ordered these from Amazon, but The work, I think it's the publisher is Comics India again. So this was Mahabali Shera. I remember Mahabali Shaka growing up reading that Diamond Comics character, but Mahabali Shera is also a nice character. Uh, Again, the art is by same as Jambu, I think. Yeah, it's similar as Jambu. Very clear outlines, very clean art, I would say. And sometimes drawing clean art is very tough. So it's nice. It's simple books. I mean, there's not much happening in Mahabali Shera. Yeah, you might see a certain Cape Crusader come phantom in these panels. But yeah, that is about Mahabali Shera. This is again Mahabali Shera, and not really offbeat, but some Hawaldar Bahadur books. I really found them funny. इसको तो जेल में डाल के सड़ा दूंगा. So if you are ever in a jail, you can really enjoy Hawaldar Bahadur books. So this was about some of my offbeat books. I'll try to talk often about these books because Offbeat is a very fond part of my life and my creative and craft pursuits. So, thank you for watching. Panel Days Superheroes Ahoy!